Hey, what's up, Matt?
Hey, what's up? Welcome back to another Footy and Coffee Conversations. I just see you by yourself.
Yeah, wifey is coming.
All
She's
right.
getting a banana bread. She got a little hungry, so
Okay, you got
always.
your coffee.
Yes, sir.
That's what I
Always,
like to
always.
hear. Now I hear the other one is not drinking coffee today.
No, I mean she's wants to get to bed kind of early tonight, and so it, coffee does keeps you up a little bit. So
I
But
hear
look
you.
what I, this is why you married me. See right
Oh
here.
wow. Oh wow.
that's why I also gained 10 pounds.
All right, so we're
Yeah.
gonna go in. To start, if you guys both just want to introduce yourself, say what club you're playing for now, what position you are.
All right, you want to go first?
Sure. Kayla Braffet-Strain. I play for Umeå in Sweden. It's in Damallsvenskan, which is in the highest league. This is my second year in the highest. Last year, or 2 years ago, I was in second tier at a different club. So I play forward, typically a winger. So either a wing back or a wing forward. Yep.
And then I'm Reid Strain. I play for Frischka Villior, my first season here. I play center back and a little bit of holding mid right now.
Very cool. All right, so kind of what we'll do is we'll just kind of talk, both of you at each level and just work the way up. So we'll start, whoever wants to start, just telling a little bit about youth career, and then what happened with that going forward.
Hey, ready? Ladies first. Always.
Okay, ladies first. All right. So many of you probably don't know I'm from Bloomington Normal, which is like more of central Illinois. So I'm about 2 hours south of Chicago. So having a club even near me was not a thing. I think the closest local club was like 45 minutes away. So we actually built a club called CIS. And my uncle, he wasn't my uncle at the time, but he became my uncle later. He actually was the club coach and was my head coach. So I was a part of a club called CIS since I was 10 to 16. And then actually, when the Red Stars were formed, Rory, their head coach, was the Eclipse head coach and moved to Chicago Red Stars. And my uncle and my current head coach replaced Rory's role.
Okay.
Yeah, so all of a sudden I'm 16 and I don't have a club anymore. Kind of prime time recruiting. And so we actually, as a team, we decided to join a team up in Chicago, but we weren't going to do it with Eclipse. I mean, they had been our rivals the whole
Of
time.
course. Yeah, of course.
Join just like another club. So it was called, oh man, KUFC. I believe it's still a club. Dwayne Cruz became our head coach. Great guy. Really helped us out when we were struggling. So played there for 2 years and yeah, so that was kind of my interesting upbringing, I guess, for youth. Yeah. I don't know if you want
That's a little bit different than some of the other ones we've heard. We haven't heard someone just starting their own club, but I like that.
Yep. But hey, most of us went Div 1 or Div 3. And Div 3 was like Washington University, which is phenomenal women's soccer. And she ended up winning the Div 3 tournament, I think like 3 years. Three
I
out
hope
of
I hope the slogan for you guys' club was nothing normal about this team.
I like that one.
the.
All right, Reid, what about you?
Yeah, I had a interesting youth. I was a nomad. I started out with moving around a lot. I was with FCB my younger years, which is a local club in Barrington, which I grew up in. Then I moved to Carmel, Indiana for a year just because of my dad's work and played for Carmel United. I actually won Like, we were the best team in the country that year, so a pretty cool accomplishment we had.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then ended up coming back to Barrington 1 year again with my old club because my friends wanted to hang out with them, kind of thing. Back, just enjoying soccer with my buds, And then made a move to Schwaben, which was in the Buffalo Grove area, and played for a coach called J.P. Takoto, who actually played for Cameroon's national team back in the day. And his grandson actually played basketball at North Carolina and got drafted by Philadelphia. So it was a very good family for professionals. But was there for probably 5 years or so. And then my senior year of high school, I made the move to Chicago Fire Academy, trying to get seen for college and stuff. And so that was my final year of youth. So I was kind of all over the place.
Yeah, you guys both had a little bit of moving around, some different experiences. Yeah, when was professional soccer a goal for either of you at that point?
Nope.
My senior year of high school / going into college, I'd say yes, because I got an opportunity to play for the Puerto Rican U20 team. And it was just a cool experience, some good players and stuff, and super competitive, and I had never really experienced something like this. It was funny because with the Fire, I was with Kaz, who you had on a couple days ago, and he played for the national championship in July there, and they end up winning it. And I was on that team, but I wasn't there because I was in Puerto Rico training and stuff for qualifiers for the World Cup. So, but yeah, I kind of had that experience, and I kind of enjoyed it, and I was like, maybe I have a future in this, and really kind of enjoyed this environment. So it was kind of eye-opening for me as well.
All right, so now talk me through kind of your graduating high school. What's the plan? What are your opportunities going forward from there?
Yeah, well, for me, I think Kelly mentioned this. Women's soccer, you get drafted really early. It's kind of crazy. So very similar to her, I was going to schools and doing unofficial visits when I was a sophomore. And so my very first unofficial visit was South Dakota State University, which is where I ended up going. I actually went there because the coach was very interested, but I wasn't. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. I can get one out of the way, kind of know the routine of it, what to expect, and not feel any regret about it not going well, or whatever. And for me, it just went fantastic, that first round. So I was expecting every visit to go like this. And I went to a couple in North Carolina, a couple in South Carolina, went to Drake, and just went to a couple of other schools. Wasn't interested in an Illinois school, but was okay being somewhere around. And yeah, just nothing really compared to South Dakota. The facilities were pretty good, but they were actually building a whole new facility as soon as I arrived. So I didn't get to see everything yet, but I saw the buildings and the process, and I knew it was going to be done when I was a freshman. So I was pretty excited about that too, just to be in brand new facilities. So yeah, South Dakota, I think I verbally committed, probably late, maybe sophomore year. I don't even remember when you can officially sign.
Junior
year, yeah, because I signed as soon as I was able, signing it.
And then never wavered from that for the rest of high school?
Nope, I was good with it. I was very, very happy, even though it was a little cold.
Yeah, very true.
I think it more confirmed my answer when I went on my official visit, because I did go back again, and it just confirmed it. So for me, it was pretty clean cut. I wanted some nice people, and South Dakota's full of the nice people, don't you know?
I hear you. I mean, hey, my brother lives there, so I understand. It's a great place. It's a great place to visit. I don't know about live. And then what about you, Reid?
Yeah, so I was a late bloomer for sure with college opportunities. I wasn't sure if about playing probably till my end of my sophomore year, going into my junior year. Actually, to be fair, soccer wasn't my favorite sport probably till about high school time. I was more interested in baseball and basketball. I know it's shocking. I was actually, if you had asked me this question, probably like back then, I would have said, yeah, I would try to play professional baseball back in the time. But some bad stuff happened, bad coaching and stuff like that. You know, everything happens for a reason, kind of thing. And soccer was always there for me, always stood out. So, but I was late to the game. I was playing with Schwaben team, and I got a couple interests from like a D2 school called St. Joe's. And so I went there for my first visit, probably a size of like 700, 800 kids maybe. So a tiny school, like out in the middle of Indiana, Rensselaer, I believe. And it was just like crazy. But it was so cool because they had like my name printed out for me and stuff like that, and made me feel real special. And then I had a couple visits at Butler University, kind of was interested in me. And Indiana was always my like ideal school, but because my dad went there and I had loved Indiana. So, and I had a ton of family that lived in Carmel and Greenwood. So it kind of like dream come true would be to go to Indiana. Yeah. So I'd been going to summer camps there for like about 4 or 5 years. So Todd Yeagley, who's the head coach there, had seen me and kept tabs on me and stuff like that, would come to like a couple of my games when I was playing. So there was some mutual interest there for sure. And then it's my senior year, and then late April, when super late, I need to sign with a school. My three choices were Butler, UIndy, and Indiana. I had someone with Yeagley said there's two guys that they want to sign. If one of them doesn't sign, they'll take me. Butler decided that there was no room for me at the time, and UIndy had offered me a scholarship, so I knew if I didn't get Indiana, I could go to UIndy. And Indiana, they signed both their players, so I ended up going to UIndy, which was the same university my grandparents went to, so it was a very cool feeling as well, going to the same places my grandparents did.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's cool. A little history there. I like that. All right, so then you get to college. Kayla, just briefly talk about your college career, and then at that point, are you looking at professional soccer at all, or what's your thought process?
Didn't see too much time early on as a freshman, which is typical. You got to earn your stripes, those types of things. Luckily, towards the middle end of the season, I was given some opportunities and just did really well with it. So we got into the tournament, and I was able to be a part of earning into the tournament, and then also doing well within the conference tournament, but then also making the NCAAs. And we made it to the second round, which was the highest we'd ever gone before. So that '08 class is well known at South Dakota State. Sophomore and junior year, sophomore year, I was on rotation for starting, which was a little bit of an annoyance. We had we played a 4-3-3. We had a solid forefront line. And so I think to kind of keep frustrations low, I would start for 3, sit out for 1. And it was the same for all of us. It didn't matter. Wow. Yeah. So, and he stuck to that pretty, he stuck to that. Yeah, pretty religiously till maybe same thing around when it came to the conference tournament time. Then I was able to start every time. Otherwise, he didn't want the hostility between us. He wanted us to keep playing and be competitive amongst each other. So I thought he did a pretty good job. Looking back at it now, of course, I didn't like it in the moment, but I understand now because I was a sophomore, and it was sophomores and juniors. There were no seniors in the forward starting lineup. So he didn't want someone to lose hope, I guess. He wanted everyone to keep fighting. Then junior year and senior year, I think, is where I more came into the player that I am today, rather than being more of a chaotic player and not thinking very much, because I would say that's kind of the type of player I am. I was able just to kind of slow the game down mentally, and was able to rack up some goals, rack up some assists. And it ended up my senior year, I was Offensive Player of the Year for the league, which was awesome.
Okay.
I hold, I think, like the most assists or second assist, something like that. I don't know anymore. I'm sure it's changed now. I'm an old.
Why I married her.
Yeah, I'm an old lady now. So no, they've had some great girls come through since I've been there. So I'm sure those records are broken now.
I mean, that's almost 2 decades ago. So
yeah.
Savage, man.
And then what about you, Reid? How did it go for you?
Yeah, so interesting for me. Freshman year was amazing. I had an incredible year. I think at the time I was playing forward, so I made the switch to center back obviously a couple of years ago, but before that I was playing striker. I think I had like 15 goals as a freshman. I got all conference first team, all conference or all first team regional, and then honorable mention or maybe second team for All American my freshman year. So things went really well. Enjoyed my time there. Was getting minutes. Started every game kind of thing. Later that's in the fall or in the spring. I'm sorry. Got called up for the next round for U20s. So we were playing for the shot to play in the World Cup as U20s, and we actually got one game away from qualifying. So it was such a cool feeling. I mean, we obviously didn't get to play in the World Cup, but for Puerto Rico, we made history, furthest that Puerto Rico's ever gotten. So my freshman year, like that entire year, I'm flying high, soaring, just buzzing. Great year.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then sophomore year was
dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. Sophomore year was a bit of a change for me. Came into this season injured. Had hurt my calf playing with PDL with the Fire and stuff, and wasn't healthy. And our coach decided to, kind of change things up. We were doing like 2 shifts basically. So you're only playing 45 minutes, which to me isn't really football. You get no consistency and rhythm. So, I didn't do as well my sophomore year. And so, yeah, it was kind of a struggle, frustrated. Thought about transferring to a couple of different schools. Was talking to Butler and Yeagley then at IU. But I actually got an opportunity to go play in Costa Rica. So I actually took that opportunity to go play there for a club called Saprissa, which was the head coach was the coach for the Puerto Rican national team at the time. So he liked what he saw with me, obviously, with the national team, and brought me there. And so my college career was very short.
Yeah.
Not long. So.
But it was a good experience, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, good friends from there. Enjoyed my soccer. I mean, didn't end well, but I have no regrets going there. I mean, my parents got to go to so many of my games and stuff, and got to go to the same university as my grandparents. So loved it, and still have talked to people from there. So loved it there.
That's awesome. Yeah, they don't remember your year the same as Kayla's year at school, though.
Oh wait.
I hear in the locker room at Kayla's they have 08. They're great.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's
I can write slogans for whatever club you're on. Let me know. I can write slogans for it.
Yeah, seriously.
All right, Kayla. So then you graduate college. Talk about what happens next, and then kind of move into how you end up getting into professional soccer.
Yeah, so my story is pretty unique. I decided I was super excited about teaching and just my career path. Soccer ended on a high for me. I loved it, but there was no draft in 08 or anything like that. The women's pro team had just collapsed and was rebuilding. So the year I graduated was actually a pretty unique year. And it's not how it is now where girls can sign up and try and be drafted and those things. Like that just was not a thing when I graduated. You had to go and off and do your own thing somehow. So, since there wasn't a lot of opportunity, I went and I taught for 5 years or 4 years total I taught in a school full time. And it wasn't until after my second year that I decided, hey, you know what? It's been on my heart. I've been coaching. I want to go and like play semi-pro, because now that the league has been up, there's some semi-pro teams and stuff. So I played semi-pro. I played semi-pro in Minnesota. And actually before that, sorry, I forgot about this. I studied abroad in Paris. And so I actually got to play with like the reserves of the PSG for the girls.
Oh,
and
wow.
that was so cool. And so I was in Paris playing soccer for the first time in a long time. And I was just a practice player. Like, they just needed numbers, and I had shown them interest, and they're like, yeah, sure, you can come and just practice with us. So I was, in Paris speaking French and playing soccer. I flippin' loved it. So as soon as I came back, I was like, okay, I want to get back on the soccer grind a little bit. So did join some men's league. We're not very, it's South Dakota. There's not that many options going on. So I joined the men's league and did pretty well. Played in Minnesota, and then I decided, okay, I want to think about this for real. So I gave myself kind of like a 1 to 2 year limit of pursue soccer, see what happens with it. So I moved to Chicago, wanted to be a practice player for the Chicago Red Stars, but of course it's like, nope, you can go on the reserves team, so did that. I was able to practice a couple times with them when the national girls would be gone. They would pull girls up from the reserve, and so I was able to practice with them. So I got kind of highlights of it, but still didn't seem like a real good opportunity for me. And after that, I joined Bridges, and at the same time, very interesting, is my coach during the summer wanted me to help him out because he coached college. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll be a volunteer, no problem. Whatever, I can do that. And it was right outside my town. Well, he ended up getting fired day 2.
Oh, gosh.
And so on day 2, I become the interim head coach of a Division III women's soccer program.
Wow.
So I went from volunteer to head coach very quickly. And so I was like, oh man, maybe this whole journey is about me becoming a coach. I was stuck in my mind that I was going to be a player. But I still didn't want to give that up so quickly. And so I decided, I coached the girls for that whole semester. And while I was coaching, I was also training on my own and going to Bridges. Went to a classic, what are those called? When I went to Florida. What are those? Went to a classic combine.
Yeah.
Had food poisoning the day before. It was terrible.
She ate McDonald's. I mean, it's kind of her own.
That's kind of deserved then.
But so I literally went through this combine on applesauce. That's all I ate was applesauce, because that's the only thing that would settle my stomach. But I mean, the combine, it was good. They were interested. I got film, which was like a big reason I wanted to do the combine as well. 11v11. I had no film. Another disadvantage of being older. No one wants film from 8 years ago.
It's hard to tell what player it is when it's all in the black and white film.
Exactly. So I got some film, and they were interested, and actually they offered me to be in the highest league in Iceland, and I was super excited. It was pretty quick, and as everybody knows who's in this game, 2 days later, yanked right away from me. So they called me up and were like, actually, we decided to go with somebody else. I was like, okay.
Heartbreaking.
Thanks.
Yeah. Disappointing.
And I, luckily through Bridges, Emil knew a club who was in the second tier that needed some girls, and he reached out to them, and I came just on a tryout, and within 2 days they signed me.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
so luckily you keep the grind going.
Yeah. No, and I think it's disappointing for any player, obviously, to have a contract yanked away. But I think especially when you've been out of the game for that long, obviously you're not, a 21-year-old just starting out. I imagine was very difficult at that time, because then you're going, is it worth it, or is it ever going to happen?
100%. And I had an agent who was really well connected in France. Like I said, I had studied abroad in France earlier, and I mean, it was at least like once a month where like, hey, start packing your bags. I got a deal coming through. And I mean, for a whole semester, like a whole season, my bags were packed. Like I was ready to go in like a day's notice.
Like a secret agent with a go bag just ready.
And I felt real secret agent, because I don't know if you guys know this, but you can get your passport. You can get a brand new passport in 24 hours. And there's only one place, and it's downtown Chicago. And I had to find this out because he called me up like, Kayla, you must go this Saturday. And I was like, okay, I need to renew my passport, and figured it out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then, come Saturday morning, never mind, Kayla, the team does not want you. I was like, thanks.
Yeah, at least you had your passport renewed.
But I had my passport.
Yeah, at least you had that. All right, Reid, what about you then? You're playing down in Costa Rica. What happens then? How do you end up over?
So, kind of still not the greatest experience in Costa Rica. So the bad luck kind of continues. The team, I'm playing with the reserves. So the Saprissa is like one of the top teams in Costa Rica. Finished like top 3 every year. Great players. So I'm playing with the reserves, getting some like training with the first team. So it's all going well. But my teammates definitely weren't a fan of me being American, for sure. And my Spanish wasn't up to par, even though I was half Puerto Rican. Hadn't practiced as much, all that good stuff. And I actually got jumped in Costa Rica my first year. So that was a little scary. Yeah, I haven't told many people about this, but
by your teammates, or
no, by 2 people I was watching. Imagine.
We don't want you here, American.
No, two people I was just walking home from practice got jumped. Luckily I didn't have anything on me really, except for my cleats and my bag. No phone was with me, just because it was dead, so I just left it at home, kind of thing.
Wow.
So I was scared and stuff. So that year was definitely a challenge, and definitely like I was frightened and stuff. But I came back. This reserve team like kind of fell apart, so I went to a new club called Assery. Got some minutes there, got some good experience playing and stuff. Met some good people. I went back another year after that, and unfortunately, I got tackled in a game, and I fell and I tore my meniscus. So I had to get surgery on my meniscus, and I was just unlucky. It just happens, I'm rehabbing it, come home, and then about 5 months later, I'm about to go play again, and I get tackled from behind, tear my meniscus to get other meniscus.
Brutal.
So it's just like, wow, this is bad break after bad break. Unfortunate. Kind of thinking to myself, maybe this is time to, hang it up. Can't stay healthy. Can't get past like this next step of where I want to go, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, the winter of Bridges, where I'm deciding if I'm going to hang it up or not. I kind of get a voice in the back of my head telling me, you should just go to Bridges. Go to Bridges. Something's going to happen. So I go to Bridges, meet Kayla. So that was always a bonus.
That's a bonus.
First day.
But made friends with Ryan Jackson, who had a connection in Sweden with a club called Stode in the third division. And started talking to the coach. Said, hey, we're interested, need a player, and went over there, started playing. Was starting every game at forward until one of our center backs got a red card, or too many yellow cards, so he was suspended. And back in the youth days, I played center back, so my coach kind of put me there, and I did really well. And ever since, I've kind of moved to center back now. So that's what's really changed my positioning. So new position, but I've enjoyed it, and it's making me grow as a player and gotten better. So,
and I think you've had a lot of success with it. And I like to think too, probably being a striker for so long and now moving to center back makes you a wiser center back, because you can understand what the striker is thinking given every situation as well.
Exactly. Yeah. You know the runs that they're trying to make, or what they're kind of like movements they're trying to make and stuff like that. So you kind of can jump those movements and stuff like that. So help me with that as well. Definitely.
Absolutely. All right. We're going to get into some questions now. We're going to see how you guys answer, see how strong the marriage is with it. So pressure's on for you guys.
Uh-oh.
All right. So both of you are tired. You come home from training. It's late. How do you decide who cooks?
Well, this season I've been the cooker.
Okay.
Because my trainings are pretty early. So like if I have a double, it's 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and then I'm maybe like 3 to 5, something like that. Where Reid has a later training and he doesn't get back till 8.
Yeah, and I also have to take a hour train and stuff, so I'm pretty much gone from 3 to 8 o'clock.
Yeah. So the burden falls on me.
But if I feel bad, or I can tell she's pretty tired, I will say, hey, I'll still cook some chicken and stuff, so she can keep it easy, nothing.
I like it.
Some chicken, rice, and some veggies.
Fuel is fuel for the body. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to get in 6 hours.
And she doesn't complain about the food, so that I must be doing something right?
Exactly. All right, it's 90th minute in a game. You're tied 2-2. Both of you are on the field. Your team gets a penalty kick. Who's taking it?
Oh, definitely me.
Yeah, I'd have to say Reid too. I hope no one on my other. You know what? No, I'm not even going to say the last time I took a PK. And what happened?
So we're going.
I'd give that one to him. I'd give that one to him.
All right. Now we're gonna ask if you've been listening. We've asked every Bridges player to give their top 5-a-side plus a goalkeeper. All right. You yourself can be on the bench. No MLS players are allowed in your squad. So, Kayla, if you want to say your team first, don't feel pressure to have to put Reid into it. I know some guys have added Reid into us, but if you're trying to win, not make him happy, leave him on the side.
I'm going to go with shout out to my Sweden goalie Jeff. I do really like Jeff as goalie, and I've seen have we seen Jeff here? I don't think we've seen him play here, but I feel the most connection with Jeff. And apparently a lot of other people do too. So gonna go with Jeff. I did, true fact, okay? I have a true story for you about Jeff. On my little video, I decided to record in Bridges, okay? And I send this out to people in Sweden. Well, the people I sent it out to was a former club that Jeff had played for, and Jeff was in goal. And they sent him stuff like, how do you know her? She's scoring on you.
Jeff got cut the next week.
Jeff had to look for a new club.
I was like, wow, no wonder they wanted me. They knew Jeff as a goalie, and they're like, she's scoring on? Yeah, so thank you, Jeff. I think you're the reason.
Shout out, Jeff.
Yep, shout out to Jeff. So I've got Jeff. I got to have this guy in my back line. And I wish I could say David Abador, but I haven't played with him very much. My man Lenny, got to go with he's an annoyance, just like Rita's. I don't know if you could see that. I don't know if you could see that wink, but I winked everybody. Middle, I'm going to have X. And I'm going to have, you're going to be mad at me for this one because we talked about this. I'm going to do Kyle Knotek.
Wow.
We had talked about this he was going to be upset. And mainly because he is so annoying when you play him. Him and Lenny remind me, they have a lot of similar characteristics. Like, you don't want to go against those people.
Absolutely
and
not.
So,
yeah.
like, I don't want to go. I see how hard he goes into those tackles and everything. So, definitely him. And then I'd have to say I get 2 forwards.
Not one, babe.
Oh, 1 forward. I'm gonna go with Tosh.
Okay.
But
Okay.
here's my issue, Matt Poland. None of these guys sub, so it doesn't matter that I'm the 6th player. I'm not seeing the field.
The only time is if you don't make it to the championship and you're playing for 3rd place. They'll be like, "All right, you can go. I'm leaving."
Yeah, they all leave. They all leave.
But is that squad playing in 3rd place?
Yeah,
I don't know about
that squad's not playing in 3rd.
Yeah, that squad's probably not. All right.
Yeah, but so that's my only issue with this squad is none of them sub. You know,
I hear you.
Fresh legs.
All right, Reid, what about you?
So I know it's 5, but there's a lot of players at Bridges that have gone through there that have quality players. So I might throw a few extra in there because, you need subs. You can't play the entire time, Matt Pullen. You know that.
Yeah. Oh, you
All
can't.
Right, but you can only have 5 on the field, so you can
I'm gonna
make your bench as many as possible, but you're going to have to only put 5 on the field.
All right, that's fine. I'll give honorable mentions. How about that?
All right.
All right, so Jeff Gall, definitely. I'll mention, though, Mike Novotny, one of the best shot blockers I ever played against in that place. So shout out to him. Back line, I'm going to have to go with Avador and Eric Leonard. Both players just nuisance, both very technical, going to crush you if you get past them or even try to pass them. So keep them on the back line. In my midfield, I'm going since, someone took mine.
Hey, sorry, we talked about it.
Jacob Bushi, again, another guy that, is going to crunch you, work hard, do the right things kind of thing. So, and I'm going to go, even though I'm a little salty, he didn't mention me, Kaz.
Oh, that's who I was going to do.
Oh, you're doing Kyle Canote tag over here. So
I did the other K.
Watching him grow, I've been with him since like 18, and seeing him develop as a player has been really fun. He's got great footwork, great speed, and
great hair.
Great hair.
Absolutely.
I guess she's got a thing for Kaz. I don't know. Well, I guess I got to watch out. Honorable mention, though, in the midfield as well, I would say Kyle Canote and X. X is just so skillful and can score at any minute. So, and up top, I'm going with Tosh as well. Dude just knows how to win. Obviously, you had him on here earlier. He's 3 championships in the USL, and he's just a pro. Someone you don't want to play against. But also honorable mention, Woj. Just put that ball up top to his chest and let him off him, or let him turn and hit with that left foot. So,
all right, good squad.
I'm over there coaching the guys, saying, "Good job, boys." And then honorable sub 90th minute, Kayla Braffet.
Yes.
Oh, there you go. And she didn't even, there you go. It's 90th minute, but not if there's a penalty, right?
Not if there's a penalty, no.
All right. If you're looking back on your careers where you're at now, and you were able to talk to 15-year-old self, what's the biggest advice you would give yourself? Football related.
Yeah. I think for me, just probably spending more time with the ball. I rely too heavily on my speed and strength, where I wish that I could just dice somebody up. So I think for me, it would just be spending more time on the ball. Spending more time on the ball and not to be discouraged. It's easy to let outside factors fuel you. So I think, more time on the ball and just, keep doing my thing. If you're feeling good about it, feel good about it.
For me, it would be probably not playing basketball and baseball as long as I did. I was definitely behind with foot skills because, I'm missing practice, I'm missing games for other sports. So maybe I could be higher if I, had that extra time that I would put in. So would probably be my biggest, I guess not regret, but just like thing I would have done just to see where I could have been now. But everything happens for a reason. And also just be confident in yourself. Don't let someone bring you down. There's a difference between being cocky and being confident. As long as you're confident, think you're going to win today. You're the best player out there. You might not be, but as long as you both feel that way, you're going to play that way. So that would be my advice.
Yeah, no, I agree. We are actually just talking about that a couple episodes ago, the difference between your honest self-assessment and then also being confident and believing you're the best player on the field, and the importance of learning how to do both at the same time to be the most successful player possible.
Yeah.
With obviously you guys have had maybe some different struggles, obviously injuries, not playing for quite a few years. Talk kind of about the mental, how do you stay mentally strong through different situations that happen to you during your career?
Yeah, for me, I mean, I've been really fortunate, knock on wood, from an injury standpoint. I think a lot of that just goes back to taking care of it off of the field. I've always been in the weight room. I've always done prevention things. And so I've been pretty mentally strong in those regards. I think the thing mentally tough for me is now that I am playing at the pro level, everything is documented. Everything. Mm-hmm. My heart rate, my passing percentage, if I won that challenge, where I won the ball, where I lost the ball, all of those things. And I think when you get that weekly report, it can be a little bit of a stab at you. Of course, some games I'm like, heck yes, and I'm like so proud of it. And then other weeks I'm like, I cannot believe that's my passing percentage, and things like that. So I'm trying not to, for me to be mentally strong, I need to remember to like let things go, look at it and analyze it. And if I'm repeating something over and over again, yes, of course, work on that. But I think just trying to like let things go, grow from it, but let it go and actually let it go. So I'm actually excited. I'm meeting with, we have a sports psychologist. So I'm actually going to be meeting with him this week coming up, discussing this like kind of fear and how I'm letting things go. So obviously if you have like a sports psychologist or something at your disposal, use that. So I'm excited to start the sessions with him and just see where I grow as a player mentally.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, no, I think it's funny you mentioned the passing percentage, because that's how I can always tell with my players how they viewed how their last game went, because they either come up to me before training asking me, oh, what's my percentage? What's my percentage? Or I almost have to track them down to give it to them because they just don't want to.
Yeah. And it's hard. And it's hard too because, as a defender, your passing percentage needs to be high. It's a lower risk. Typically passes are a lower risk. As an attacking player, you take more risks. I know my passing percentage is going to be lower, but those passes that are low risk or should be low risk, like that has to be 100%. So that's where I really get down on myself when looking at those things, those statistics.
Yeah, I always tell players too, with that, is also look at the film, because when you look at some of those, as you said, in attacking, they're high risk, so your percentage might be low, but the pass might have been correct, and maybe the winger you were playing wasn't ready for it or something. So it's there's always more to the story as well, to not destroy your confidence.
Yeah, I'm happy this coach this year sees that.
Yeah, 100%.
That's not every coach sees that, so that's good.
Yeah. Reid, what about you?
Yeah, for me, I think two things. Definitely like not getting upset when I make a mistake, and knowing that nobody's perfect on the pitch. People make mistakes, and I just had to look forward to the next play and making sure that next pass, that next touch is better than my last one. Making sure I'm mentally strong enough to get over my mistakes, because back in the day I would say I was the worst at that. If I made a bad pass, I would be worrying about that for like 10-15 minutes afterwards or the next day, and it's just like, dude, you're not perfect, you're not nowhere close to Messi level. You're not going to make these incredible passes and touches every time. You need to let go and just get better at it. And then another thing is for me, I'm very competitive. Kayla knows this.
Mm-hmm.
I hate
Mm-hmm.
I hate losing, and sometimes I let that get the best of me, and like don't help out my teammates sometimes when I should. Like for example, here I'm the oldest guy on my team right now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, at 26, oldest guy, and sometimes I get a little hot-headed with like how we're playing or not keep ball. I just got to remember, like, I'm kind of the guy that I should teach them, because I have experience from different places and playing and stuff like that. So I got to kind of be that leader and help them out. And so instead of frustrated with how they're playing or their touch, or just help them out, be like, hey, this is what you should do next time, and kind of be more of a coach instead of being the entire time.
Yeah, no, it's that's definitely a hard thing to learn. It's easier to just get mad at the players or your teammates, but at the end, it doesn't benefit anyone. But I think along the lines with yours, the greatest advice I ever got from a coach was don't get too high after a win and don't get too low after a loss. And that can be taken to, making a bad pass or making a good pass, and just that like unwavering, everything's in your control. And I think that's the greatest strength to learn as an athlete, to have the ultimate success.
Right. You're going to have highs. You're going to have lows. Just make sure lows aren't super low, and make sure you're humble when you have your highs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. We got a couple minutes left. Any final thoughts you guys want to share? Any last words of advice? Any unique challenge you think you encountered, to both of you being professionally soccer players, married?
I would say for us being married, sorry, do you have anything? I took the lead there.
You go.
Take the lead.
Especially since it helps because her practice is earlier and mine's later. Just kind of like supporting each other when we've had like an off day or not happy with our training performance, because it's a long season. But at that moment you might be feeling pretty crappy about it, and just you got to pick them up. There's times when I'm upset about practice, and Kayla's just there to, support me, because she knows what I'm going through. She does it every day too, so it's really helpful to have someone that's experienced the same thing as me. So just being there for each other is just really helpful. And also just for younger athletes, kind of figure out what you want to do in life, and don't let anyone tell you you're not good enough. Just keep believing in yourself and push and grind, because you never know what can happen, and you don't know what your ability could possibly be. So never give up on your dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Kayla?
Yeah, for me, I think it's nice. Like Reid and I are in very similar. We're very synced. We both want to make sure we both are checking like hydration and like kind of those small little details that are easy to go to the wayside if you're not with someone who's at that level with you. So, like I'm constantly seeing Reid stretching, foam rolling, like doing those things. And actually, like yesterday, he made fun of me. He's like, "Oh, babe, look, you're stretching," and like those things. So it's very nice to have someone who can, I guess, like hold me accountable. Typically a teammate can hold you accountable or something, or help hold you accountable. But especially during this time, obviously we're in Sweden. It's a slightly different situation. We're not on complete lockdown. We are able to go to the gym. We are practicing. And those things. So it is, but at the same time, it's such a mental grind, because we really don't know when
we're starting.
Yeah,
we're starting. Yeah, there's still the unknown.
Yeah, so you're practicing, you're going through the grind, you're doing all these things, but it's hard when you don't have that goal yet in mind. So it's just nice and encouraging to go through that with somebody else.
Absolutely. Thank you for all your good advice. Good luck this season.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
Too.
Yeah. Hey, have a good day.
You too. Stay safe, bud.
Bye.
Bye.